So in light of my past experiences, my current circumstances, my future hopes and dreams, past, present, future hopes and dreams, what is the wise thing to do? And I just got to talk for a minute about the heartbreak. It is heartbreaking, isn't it? You've seen this. It is heartbreaking watching people make decisions that undermine their own future, their own hopes and dreams. People making it. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to watch individuals or couples make relationship decisions that are going to undermine their future. It's heartbreaking to watch teenagers make decisions that are going to result in consequences that will chase after them for a decade or 2 decades maybe. It's heartbreaking to watch parents parent in a way that is eventually going to create a wedge between them and their kids. We can always see it better in other people, can't we? We can always see it better from that perspective. But to avoid the damage, the avoidable regret, this is so important. In light of your future hopes and dreams, what is the wise thing for you to do? Because chances are, I'm going to assume this, that you have a picture of what you want your future to look like. You've got a picture. Maybe you've even written it out before. Maybe you haven't, but you've got a mental picture of your preferred future, what it could be like, what it should be like. But you got to know this if you don't know it already. When it comes to dreams, man, life is hard on dreams. There is a headwind when it comes to dreams in life. And if you're not careful, you got the potential to contribute to the demise of your own future. So please, don't rob yourself of your own future. I mean, nobody plans to undermine their own future. They just don't plan not to. You know what I'm saying? You don't plan to undermine your future. You just don't plan to not undermine your future. So in light of your future hopes and dreams, what's the wise thing for you to do? And this question with the future in mind brings clarity to whatever options you're considering, and asking this question in light of your future hopes and dreams puts a spotlight on your excuses. Can we talk about making excuses for a second? Yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable because we all do it. Our excuses that we make for why we make decisions and unwise decisions, our excuses are very persuasive because most of them are at least partly true. I mean, you aren't doing anything wrong yet. You can handle it initially. It's not illegal, we say. God will forgive me. But listen, the purpose of this fourth question isn't to stop you from doing something wrong. It's to keep you from doing something unwise. Doing something unwise is a gateway decision. You do something unwise, it's a gateway. What do I mean by gateway decision? You walk through this gateway and you have entered into a whole new environment. You want to be careful with gateway decisions because they change everything. You can get to a point of no return. So the question becomes, when it comes to your excuses, you know which ones you use, right? I know the ones I use. Would you be willing to put away all those old, worn out excuses because they've never served you well, have they? Your excuses have never helped you in life ever. They just cloud your reasoning, and ultimately they really diminish your ability to hear the voices of wisdom that are around you because you got your excuses. Our excuses, you know what they do? Here's what our excuses do. They escort you to the threshold of regret, and then they leave you there with no margin to get out. So isn't it time to be done with those excuses? So instead of excusing yourself forward into your preferred future, what do? We dream ourselves there. We plan our way into that preferred future. I mean, let's talk specifics here. I mean, you're going to be somewhere in 5 or 10 years financially. You're going to be there. I mean, wouldn't it be better to plan your way into that, to think through what is the wise thing to do with my future hopes and dreams? You're going to be somewhere, because if you don't decide about these things, who's going to decide for you? You know. I mean, the pressures of our retail world, our consumption-driven world, that's who's going to tell you what to do. You know, lenders, that's who's going to tell you what to do. Don't let that happen. And what's true financially is true relationally, academically, professionally. Or how about this illustration? If you're single, where do you want to be in your future relationships? You know, what does that look like for you? And in light of what you ultimately want in a partner, in a future, in a spouse, is what you're doing now going to get you there, or is what you're doing now going to undermine that preferred future? That's a hard question to answer, isn't it? I mean, this is really hard to know. But it gets back to the first question that we asked, which is, am I being honest with myself? Really? Am I being honest with myself? In light of what you want later, what is the wise thing to do now? And if you're married and you're planning to go the distance with your spouse, and you picture grandchildren in your future, if that is your preferred, if that's your dream, your hope for a preferred future, then what do you do now? What is the wise thing to do now to make sure your marriage is strong and your connection is strong, and you know all the facets of life are strong? You got kids? I mean, come on. If you're a parent, what can you envision for your child right now in the future? What are you envisioning for your child right now? And what do you envision about your relationship with your kids in the future? And is what you're doing now going to get you to that preferred future, that dream? Here's the thing, and you know this. I don't need to say it out loud, but I'll say it anyway, is everybody ends up somewhere in life. I want you to decide to live, to end up somewhere on purpose. On purpose. And the wisdom question will help you do that. What is the wise thing to do?